Anywho, let me tweet this out real quick. Anywho, yeah, I'm hoping that the quality could be a tiny bit better without me shifting all over the place. I think it'll be good for the most part. Yeah. Anywho, I just wanted to talk about everything that was going on so far because it's been a lot. It's been really cool, and uh, it's been an experience to say the least. Oh yeah. Also, I'll answer more questions now because I'm a lot more stationary, and I might even try to get people to come over and hang out with me, and we can talk about whatever. Um, Anywho, yeah, so earlier I did a stream where I went around to a bunch of people, started talking to people at different booths, started seeing what's up, started seeing what people were interested in, started seeing what different projects are doing, and just started seeing different perspectives just by asking them what's up. And gonna tweet it out. Yeah, I do need to tweet this out. Um, but anywho, um, hold on one second. I probably should have tweeted it out before I even started. Whatever. If you're here, you're here. If not, I might just stop it and restart it. Oh, there's an echo? Oh no. There might have been an echo earlier. Anywho, yeah, no, it was cool being able to chat up with a bunch of different people from a bunch of different projects and seeing their perspectives and getting some insights on things that other people are working on and just seeing what builders are building, you know? And it was kind of a lot. I wasn't expecting as much engagement as I got, so that was cool. But yeah, no, consensus is really interesting. Just the means of being able to have all these projects to come together and their uh, talk about what they're doing to move the space forward. And I thought it would be sort of like a shill fest in some regards, where everyone's just shilling their thing. But there was quite a bit of conversation around like what it means to utilize these technologies to provide better services for people, and what those services can consist of, and the means of being able to provide those services, whether it's smart contracts, whether it's layer ones, layer twos, different apps, dApps, whatever. But yeah, no, I kind of just came to just do a secondary review. I might go out there again. I'm just afraid the video quality will drop, which isn't terrible. It just sucks, and it kind of just takes the fun out of it a little bit. But yeah, sorry, I'm kind of like not exhausted, but kind of just like, oh my goodness. Uh, I honestly probably should have got coffee before I started this. Oh my goodness. Um, but no, if you guys have any questions, definitely fire them away. This is probably gonna be more of a Q&A, chill, hangout. I might do an actual video where I go up to people and ask them what they think of things, and like compile that together just to see how people, just to have it all put together as a video so people can watch. I see people asking just different like weird questions. I seem reserved. What did you see or hear that makes you so unsure? I'm kind of tired. Uh, it's been a long day, and this is the slow day. Tomorrow's gonna be the crazy day. Like there's a bunch of stuff. Actually, I've got to go. This is the second floor, so tomorrow I'm gonna be on the fourth floor. I thought I was gonna be on like the one of the. I mean, we'll see what's on the fourth floor, but I thought I was gonna be on one of the stages on the main floors, but apparently I have to be on the fourth floor, and I haven't gotten a chance to check out what that looks like yet. I have a bunch of questions, but I just got my coffee. I have a bunch of answers, and I need my coffee. So, but I guess I don't have a bunch of answers, but I have a bunch of perspectives on a bunch of questions that I could sort of elaborate on. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I didn't realize how much like it tired me the very first uh how much it tired me on the very first like stream, very first interacting with everybody, going to the booth. I was in the booth for the most part, outside of like just sort of antagonizing people with my camera. I thought there'd be way more people like that would be sort of streaming or making videos, and there are, but they're like videographers and they're doing like professional, like magazine style photos and photos that are probably going to be on like banners or whatever or advertisement guide stuff. So I'm surprised I didn't see more like influencers. I mean, I guess I'm not that surprised because this is more of like a tech convention than it is like just a general one. And I've met some cool people too. I got a chance to meet King Solomon in person, so that was really cool. Yeah, everyone's going like, "Oh, Quincy, you're so like low energy." Yeah, I know. I honestly might just stop the stream, get some coffee, splash some water in my face, and just go back at it again. Oh my God, do you guys have any questions? Like, I swear, that aren't price questions, that aren't, am I going to go do this thing questions. And I don't know, we got really good engagement earlier. But like I said, I was all over the place and asking a lot of different people a lot of different things. Um, yeah, I should have got coffee before I started this. Oh my gosh. Now the real question is, do I keep the stream going and get the coffee and be that guy in Starbucks or be that guy in the coffee line? Um, which I'm all down for. Oh gosh. Yeah, I didn't realize how like exhausted I'd feel. Like it's 3 o'clock here now, and I've been here since 8, so it's been a bit, and I'm gonna be here till 5 at least. Do you think governments will prefer building with ER 721? I think if the governments are gonna build anything, it'd be their own standard of some sort, and it'd probably follow some sort of regulatory guidelines too. And then it'd be if you want to utilize these things within our system, it abide by these, whether it's ERC standards or whatever. Yeah, I think I'm gonna get coffee and I'll be back. I'll be back. And or maybe I'll be back tomorrow with just more energy. Who knows? I was gonna stream anyway tomorrow. Um, God dang, I didn't realize I'd be so tired. But yeah, no, I think I might. Oh gosh, someone's asking about a Zoom app. I don't know how I could go into the specifics of Zoom, but Zoom just allows you to be able to use your Zoom wallet to interact with essentially what is a web page, but it's a mobile web page. So, however you build a website that's a mobile web page, you have a means of integrating your Zoom wallet into it. So, if you wanted to build a store, right, and that store was just, I don't know, buy some shirts or something, you'd build a web page. You'd build a web page with some of the dependencies to be able to facilitate the Zoom wallet, and I'm pretty sure there's a few other SDKs to be able to implement to put it into Zoom, but it's essentially a web page. And then, yeah, when people go to pay, they interact with their Zoom wallets for the payment means, and then boom, they're able to buy or sell whatever thing they wanted to buy or sell or engage with, whatever it may be. And that's a general understanding from my point. Um, but I haven't built any Zoom wallets, and I thought about it, but I haven't. Honestly, yeah, I might do Twitter Spaces. I see some people in the chat talking about that. Just so I can just be like, whatever. Yeah, the specific questions about implementing JSON in the Zoom SDK, I haven't like built any Zoom apps, or I haven't like gone through the entire process of like building and publishing a Zoom app. So I'm not entirely sure, but maybe you can find some documentation that goes more into depth into the technical implication of that or implementation of that. What's the most interesting project I met so far? That VR project was very interesting. I don't know how it has anything to do with crypto, but they built out a whole VR game that was pretty cool. I was not expecting that at all. Uh, XCC projects that I'm working on. I'm setting up a set. I'm creating an open source library of trade finance tools that allowed you not only to be able to tokenize different assets, whether it's commodities, securities, whatever, tokenize different assets, engage in different contextual agreements, so you can basically engage in some sort of agreement with people, and then have a means of signing that agreement and proving that both of you signed the agreement, as well as a set of different derivative contracts that people can use to uh, regulate and manage the tokenized assets that were created in the previous contract. So that's forward contracts, futures, options, puts, and calls, and then coupling all of those together to allow for people to create different means of facilitating trade finance services. It's just a library. Another thing I'm working on is an SDK to allow developers to you can implement the SDK into your app, so you can, in theory, interact with every app on the blockchain. So if it's XDC, you can implement the SDK, and then you can use that SDK to interact with different smart contracts without you having to write a bunch of code to do so. So that's something really interesting, and I'm probably going to do something on my YouTube channel focused around that, probably in the next coming weeks, maybe months or so. What else do I got going on? I guess that's the two biggest things I can comment on. There's a few things going on in general, but I don't know how much I can go into depth. Yeah. The entire premise of the SDK is the fact that, in theory, so if I had a mobile application I was building, in theory, that app, whether it's iOS, Android, whatever, that app can interact with every app on the blockchain. But you have to code the means of interacting with the smart contracts interfaces. And it's a lot of work to do that. So the entire SDK is predicated on being able to do that for you. So you can very easily implement different smart contracts into your mobile app without having to write a interface with every single smart contract. So in the time it would take me to connect like 5 smart contracts, I can connect like 100, just because it already has the interfaces outlined. And there's a means of being able to do that. And there's a means of being able to create apps like that. And there's a whole bunch of stuff like that. But it's supposed to cut down on the time to be able to interact with a smart contract from a mobile application. It's not that I'm not allowed to talk about the price. There's just nothing to talk about. Yeah, I might cut this a little early. Um, yeah, I didn't realize I'd be so tired. I might get food. I didn't get food. I should have. I like took a nap too. I took like a 20-30 minute nap, and I didn't get food, and I just came back. But no, I see someone asking like making a template with several smart contracts. Yeah, it's essentially a set of templates that people can use to facilitate different services and being able to tokenize different assets to manage in those services. And in theory, anybody could do it. So if I created an asset and then I wanted to engage in your futures contract, I could place that asset in that contract. Or if I had a set of different contractual agreements and I wanted to sign with a bunch of people, not only can you have individuals sign, but you can have other smart contracts signed. And it's just a set of contracts that allow for people to build services a lot easier, different trade finance services a lot easier than having to go through and build them out individually. And they're pretty generic, so you can modify them to make them more specific, or you could just deploy them as is and then be able to interact with a whole assortment of different smart contracts and tokens. Are smart contracts upgradable? No, you can't upgrade a smart contract, but you can migrate it. And what I mean by migrate is if I launch a smart contract and I have an interface that's pointing to the smart contract to use, the migration would be me launching a secondary smart contract that I take the incoming traffic from the users and point it to the new smart contract, and then maybe have certain elements of the new smart contract that references data from the previous smart contract. And then users are using smart contract 2.0 rather than 1.0. It's a completely separate contract, but that contract is referencing data from the first contract, while simultaneously implementing some new feature or function, and then you're just rerouting the traffic. And you can do that over and over again. So you can have contract A, contract B, where contract B references contract A for data, but then there are new features in contract B that contract A don't have. So then users use contract B, then there's contract C, same sort of thing where it references data from contract B, but it has new features. So when you're interacting with contract C, you can interact with those new features while referencing the old data. And it's just a migration process. Can you layer a contract to another chain? I think answer. Yeah, so it depends on the chain. There are different bridges that allow for this. Flare is probably the biggest one. When I was speaking to the Flare guys, in terms of being able to launch one smart contract on one network, another smart contract on another network, and then both of them being able to communicate with each other across networks. And there's a few other chains that can facilitate this too. Um, a lot of bridges facilitate the means of exchanging assets across network, but there are a few chains that are able to facilitate executions across network. Someone asked, I know you're XDC centric, but what's your opinion on Casper? I'm XDC centric because I work for the XDC Foundation. I don't work for Casper. I haven't done anything with Casper, and I'm not entirely sure what to add for Casper. But yeah, I know a ton of stuff about XDC because that's all I work on for the most part. And I do like tangentially work on other technologies too. XRP comes up quite a bit. Flare's been coming up a little bit too. Um, and Algorand came up a while ago, but I haven't touched Algorand in a little bit. But yeah, no, XDC is just what I work on every day, so that's why I have so many opinions and so many thoughts on the implementations of XDC, as opposed to like Casper or whatever. Uh, that's a funny question. How many jobs do I get offered a month? I'll tell you this: it's too many to count. I don't even bother counting them. Actually, I get people like crawling into my DMs to do that, like whether it's Twitter or LinkedIn. LinkedIn's a big one, but yeah, I don't even count anymore. It's ridiculous. I'm glad you're here because this industry can silo you on accident. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, I can see where I think one of the biggest things is because everyone has a financial incentive to, or everyone has, I guess that's the best way to put it, a financial incentive to continuously push whatever project they're primarily working on. But there's sort of like this counterintuitive idea where the more people you have engaging with more networks, even though they may not be directly on your network, the means of being able to engage with participants on your network or being able to move value back and forth, even if it's not directly being attributed to your network, will increase the overarching demand for your network, your token, your everything. But it requires sharing. It requires allowing people to come onto your network while simultaneously people being able to leave your network for others. But the idea is that people that are going to continuously build on your network will, people that are building on other networks will also do that. And then they just have a means of being able to communicate with each other. So you now have an additional means of being able to build demand for your applications. Yeah, I'm going to the XRP event in Vegas next week. That's going to be really interesting. There are a lot of people that are really excited for that. And I'm pretty excited for it. It's gonna be cool. Yeah, I wish I had more energy now. I didn't. I did like 5 minutes ago, maybe 15 minutes ago, and then as soon as I'm like, okay, cool. Let me just like start this up. Let me just say, hey, what's up, and we'll go downstairs. Now I'm like, someone just like give me a pillow real quick, and I'll just. But does XTC work with Quant? Yeah, Quant primarily tries to integrate with multiple networks. XTC, I believe, is one of them, and Quant, I believe, is just a cryptocurrency for Overledger, which acts as an operating system. But I'm pretty sure Quant has means of being able to interact with XTC as well as a bunch of other networks too. Um, I'm not sure if it's entirely predicated off of the APIs or if it's entirely based off of like wrap tokens. I'm pretty sure it's mainly the APIs, but I believe there's some level of compatibility, but primarily because that's what Quant does. That's kind of the whole point. Yeah, I think I might end this here. I might honestly, I might just say screw it and just hop on Twitter Spaces. so I can just chill and see what else other people are up to. I know that there's some consensus Twitter spaces going on, um, but so I might try to hop on those. But yeah, maybe I might just do a Twitter space and just chill for the rest of the day on the space. Might get food. Might, who knows? Who freaking knows? This is the boring day too. Tomorrow's gonna be an absolute insanity. Like it's gonna be nuts. Am I a full stack dev or a back end dev? I consider myself full stack now, but not because I want to be, but because I have to be. Uh, but the biggest thing is, primarily I was a back end developer for the longest time, focusing on cloud development, focusing on infrastructure and architecture, and then when moving over to blockchain, it's sort of the same sort of deal, but minus the infrastructure and architecture. You're just focusing on the back end logic on smart contracts. And then lately, in the past like 8 months, I've been like focusing hardcore on iOS development and building iOS apps. And that's primarily where the SDK comes into play. It's a front end mobile SDK for iOS, as well as branching out into different other technologies like Android and even VR too in Unity. Um, but uh, but I consider myself full stack because I have to be able to build the smart contracts in terms of being able to manage that back end logic. But because I don't necessarily have to focus on infrastructure or architecture anymore, I have more time to focus on interface stuff, and that just happens to be mobile development. And I would say I spend more time on mobile development than I do on smart contracts. Not because like mobile development is so much or whatever. It's just that a lot of the smart contracts are relatively, I don't want to say simple, but the level of complexity isn't anywhere near as what it would have been in a traditional Web 2 environment. Because in Web 2, I would have to set up, so let's say I was setting up an app, and that app runs on a server and it stores data in a database, and then I have to maintain the database, and then I have to scale up both the server and the database based off of usage. That's a lot of work, but I don't have to do that with blockchain, so I just have more time to focus on interface stuff on mobile development. No, React and TypeScript is primarily web development. They do have a means of being able to be able to cross platforms, but it's mobile development for iOS primarily that I've been focusing on. One of the cool things about iOS that really got me into it is one, I like their new framework, Swift UI, which is really nice. And two, I like the means of how cohesive the entire all their technologies are. It's really easy for me to build an application that can very easily connect to your watch, connect to your computer, even have different means of being able to interact with specific type of headphones that are like Apple based or whatever, or even like tablets. The entire means of being able to manage my application is incredibly simple, while simultaneously uh, I don't necessarily have to put in as much work. And no, I'm not rich. I wish I was rich. I mean, maybe I'll be rich soon, but if I'm gonna be rich, I'm gonna be rich off of like valuation for some startup or something, rather than like I don't know, getting paid or something, or even like holding bags or whatever. And I have a bunch of different startup projects that I'm working on. But yeah, if I'm gonna get rich, it's gonna be in some ridiculous valuation for some liquid stock and some startup I'm working on. um, what did I study? Well, primarily in college, I studied economics, as appropriate as that may be now. Um, but ever since, I've been mostly just focusing on building out or learning different frameworks to build out new applications and just increasing my programming skills. And oh, sorry, I thought somebody was going to come talk to me. Yeah, man, I'm so tired. I hate the low energy. How many people work for XDC? XDC Foundation, pretty sure there's like 25, 30 different people. But like XDC in general, there's XDC community, and then there's people that are part time there and do different things there. There's Zinfin, which is a company in its own right, but like you could say that Zinfin and XDC Foundations their goals are aligned, but their means of executing on those goals are entirely different. But you could sort of look at that in the same boat in some regard. I have no idea how many people work for Zinfin. I know it's a lot. But yeah, that's a pretty broad question because there's a lot of different organizations that focus around XDC and do different things. XRP buyback's not possible. Any token buyback's not possible. Yeah, I might give this another 5 minutes just to round it off at 30 minutes, but yeah, I thought I'd have like way more energy to start going in. I don't know. I might start filming some videos just to potentially put out a video, and I might just interview some people and see what's up. Oh, I work for the XPC Foundation. It's a nonprofit organization centered around being able to facilitate tools and being able to expand the XPC network to make it easier for other entities and other participants to engage with each other. Any more questions? Because I might end it a little sooner. Yeah, I might just end it and just hop on a Twitter space and just roam around and hang out. Who knows? Uh, yeah, I think I might do that. Like, uh, gosh, I swear, I feel like I'm just gonna like fall over. All right, guys, I'll catch you guys later. I'll hop on Twitter space or on Twitter and just hang out with you guys, see what's up. Peace.